Live from the I-10 corridor from the Fastport Studios in the city of New Orleans, it's Nemo Nation.
Hey guys, our good friend Janet actually stopped by the booth to tell us hi. Actually, one of Dave and Cheryl's oldest friends, and really great to see her on. Phone Master Dre joins me this morning. Dave's going to sit this next segment out. Shaking some hands, beating some folks,
kissing babies,
mixing and mingling over here at the Ernest N. Morial Convention Center. Our good friend Michael Freeze is joining us.
Yes.
Don't need to tell you about all of his work over at Transport Topics. He's the man with the plan. There are so many things. The features editor, so many other things too. A crackerjack writer. He has worked in all aspects of trade publication. He's a naval veteran, and he's a righteous man in a righteous land. And by the way, he is able to be incredibly relieved for two reasons. The Steelers won, and it turns out that Rodgers' injury is nowhere near as bad as was initially feared. It's a little crack on the wrist and not even the throwing one. Hey, Michael, good morning and congratulations. Looks like you guys are now firmly in control of your own destiny in the AFC North. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, buddy.
Yeah, we're in control for just a week, But Jimmy, Dave, thank you for having me on once again. How's it going out there?
Well, we are over here in the city of New Orleans, as you know, but it's not our normal broadcast point, my friend. We are actually at the Ernest N. Morial Convention Center for what is shaping up to be a pretty darn terrific conference. Where are we talking to you from?
You are talking to me from my home base here near in D.C., but I definitely wanted to tell you about the stuff that has been keeping me busy this last week. Fortunately, I get to travel, a little bit being the features editor of Transport Topics, but, this past week I had the opportunity to go back to my hometown of Canton, Ohio for the Hendrickson Media Day event. So it was great going there and just, taking care of business and taking care of mama as well. So it's been a great week.
So talk to me a little bit about what the story was at the media event. I mean, because like I said, the media event is about somebody's telling a story and about, as Dave and I have talked about this. We read a press release and we go, okay, thanks. That's your story. Now let's get the real story. So what was the story they were pitching over there when you actually had to make the trip over there?
Oh, not a problem at all. The title of the event was Beyond Suspensions, and what they wanted to do was just, highlight some of the new technologies that they had out there. For example, the ZMD, new ride technology when it comes to their series of suspensions, and also the Tire Max, the TPMS, for tire inflation. I got to speak to Matt Wilson. He's the vice president and general manager of Hendrickson Vehicle Technology Group. So I got a chance to pick his brain a little bit about where the company is going and everything, and definitely it was a great conversation. We really honed into the implementation of vehicle technology and smart trailer technology, which has been a focus of data-driven solutions and autonomous technologies. So basically, they're building suspensions for the heavy duty section, but they're really looking on to what's it going to be like when the autonomous grabs hold of the industry and where it will be positioned at. So it's a big question mark, but we did sit down to talk about that, and he was also part of a panel that they had on as well to talk about that exact thing. So it was a lot to take in, and it's definitely something that's going to be on the pages of Transport Topics later this week. But it was a great time being in Canton.
Really quickly, Michael, and I know the answer to this question, but I had this thought the other day that there are so many things that are flooding the zone, so much new technology and so much new terminology, and I've been thinking about this, that there are people that I know are in meetings and in conversations, particularly a lot of our trucking friends who, try to keep up with everything, but like on the most basic level, and I'm going to ask a definition, but I'm also going to want to open it up to a larger conversation. What's a smart trailer? Define that for me. When we say smart trailer, what does that mean?
Okay, for instance, say if you wanted to keep track of your loads in a particular trailer, or where a particular trailer has come from, during the route, and what has transpired between that point A and point B. There's technology that can send that information to a dispatch in real time. So if someone is at halfway across the country, and they needed to know if a load was dropped off, or they needed to know if a load was dropped off and more was added into another delivery destination. That that information can be had, and it also can be had. It's just the weight, and also the maintenance and the caregiving of it, for the lack of a better term, while it's out on the road. There's technology to monitor that, and to also the AI, which the AI comes in, where it will offer suggestions to what needs to be done for a certain item, or a certain condition of a trailer, if immediate action needed to be taken. So the smart trailer basically just is the eyes and the ears remotely for a dispatch to know the condition of a trailer.
I asked that. And I asked that not because I didn't know the definition. And by the way, that was a pretty darn terrific definition. I asked that because it sets up my larger question, Michael. Right at the heart of it is, do you feel like that we are doing proper diligence? I mean, that's part of our jobs, your job, my job. Do you feel like that we are able to keep up with all of the new terminology that's coming to people? And do you feel like that people are using us to keep up? Am I making sense here? I've been thinking about this for the last couple of weeks.
I think, Jimmy, it goes down to the paralysis by analysis. We need the data. We can have all the data, but we only need some of the data. And I think the answer to your question is 50% yes and no, because we some fleets might have issues with tire wear, and it's just maybe just a habitual issue concerning tire wear where it comes to TPMS or just driver handling. So you have those, and there's other fleets that they have trailer issues. They have problems monitoring the data that's involved in the freight that they're carrying. So it's definitely a technology that needs to be suited to the needs of a particular fleet. For some fleets, for instance, Anderson Trucking was at this particular panel. They had issues with tire inflation and trailer. So they had worked with Hendrickson to create a perfect solution. And within that solution, I had asked Matt, just when it comes to that solution, that the management wants something, and then you have the drivers and the techs that demand something too within that whole supply chain. So it's important to have you might have the greatest solution, but for suppliers, it's important to have that. That solution that's the right solution that works for the guys in the bay and the overall picture for the guys in the executive suite. So it's a complicated puzzle, but it's one that can be solved.
Michael, we are out of time, but I wanted to have a really funny moment here because Dave wanted to say good morning. Say good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Dave. Hey, Michael.
But we are. By the way, it's taken a long time, but that joke finally paid off. It finally paid off in grand style. Michael, we got to go. We're gonna get you on for a longer segment soon because there's a lot of stuff to dig into. But I so appreciate, dude. That was exactly the answer that I was looking for. Whether you agreed or disagreed, it didn't matter. You totally got what I was getting at. Well done, well said. It's why we bring you on, my friend. What is coming up? What should we be looking for from you, and what are you looking for next? You got about 20 seconds here.
Oh, no problem. For our Transport Topics Deep Dive, we're going to be talking about the use of AI in the trucking industry. So be on the lookout for that. That should be in the December issue. And then we have some nice surprises and some nice features to give to our audience in 2026. So be on the lookout for that.
Thank you, Michael Freeze. As always, man, he is the editor who is in charge of a lot more than just editing. Thank you, Michael.
No problem, guys. Have fun out in New Orleans.
Thank you, sir, very much. I'm going to take a step back to go mix and mingle here for a second. We're going to turn this over with a bit of a brief musical interlude to Dave and a friend, a longtime friend who is incredibly young at heart, both Dave and our next guest. Dave will do the honors. Madison, break us away.